Joining me is the panel, Michael Kroger, former Victorian Liberal President, Steve Conroy, former Labor Senator and Cabinet Minister. Michael, does anyone seriously believe that all this pain of higher bills and higher taxes to pay for green energy is worth it, that it will change the climate and for the good? Should the Liberals actually instead be dropping the net zero target, as Andrew Hastie now seems to think too?
Well, if you said it won't make any difference to the climate here, and look, this fellow Albanese just trades in fear. That's his shtick. This is the hallmark of his prime ministership. Fear of seas rising, fear of coastal communities being drowned. Fear of fires and floods, fear of nuclear, fear that Medicare will be slashed and burned, fear that there's secret cuts everywhere. I mean, the hallmark of this guy's whole prime ministership is just trading. It's a race to the bottom by him, trading on people's fears. It's lowest common denominator stuff. And what he should do is come out and explain how we're going to get to net zero, what it's going to cost, because I don't think anyone's got any idea. And far from being the cheapest form, Andrew, I think the answer is in renewables, as great as they are the most expensive form of energy. And we've seen that in recent years. I mean, the public are not mugs. The bills haven't gone down by $75, Andrew. They've gone up by $1,300. So he needs to stop lying about this stuff. And Stephen Conroy, by the way, needs to stop apologising for him.
Stephen, I think you still haven't lost the grin on your face since election day.
Well, look,
but listen,
I'm just
Albanese
confused.
today, Stephen. No, but Albanese today, linking global warming to these floods, to the drought, to the ex-cyclone Alfred, when the science, as I have just quoted from the IPCC, the UN's own body, the science is otherwise. Do you think he did that deliberately today to excuse these higher power bills announced on the same day?
No, not at all. I mean, Labor's just got re-elected on its commitment to zero net emissions by 2050. But what I'm really confused about, both your and Michael's view, is I thought the Liberals were putting forward a proposal on nuclear power to achieve net zero by 2050. The constant refrain saying, the only way to achieve net zero is to go down the nuclear path. And in case you both haven't noticed, the National Party last week split the coalition on the basis that they were demanding that nuclear stay in the debate and that the Liberal Party must recommit to nuclear power. Otherwise, why else, and I'll use David Littleproud's costing, why else are you committing to spend $330 billion on public money on nuclear reactors if you don't believe that we need to be net zero by 50? I mean, OK, let's say, Andrew Hastie's right.
Stephen, can I turn you
and we get rid of it. Why are you spending $330 billion of taxpayers' money?
You're making a point here, but
Stephen, it's down. We've saved $270 billion since the election.
Consideration.
Stephen, I'm just saying
it was $600 billion.
Littleproud's number. No, I'm prepared to take 600 if you want, Michael, but I'm just picking on Littleproud's number. No,
Stephen,
you know you didn't win the election.
You don't need to repeat
$330 billion.
You don't need to repeat the lies. The election's won, OK? So let's forget that.
It's Littleproud's number. It's not a lie. I'm picking his number.
To the point. Stephen, I want you to get back to the point. Our power bills are going up again after being told they would go down, up again with more warnings. There's even more pain to come. This is not worth the candle, is it?
Well, why is the Liberal Party and the National Party demanding that they
No, stop it with the Liberals. They won't be in government for a couple of elections. Stephen, for God's sake, please stick to the topic. Your government, 3 years already, at least 6 years to come, with these global warming schemes that are driving people's bills up. Discuss.
Well, the Australian people just had a vote and they supported Labor's position on renewables.
Well, more for them.
And
Discuss.
no one is trying to
this worth
suggest.
it?
I mean, the report after report say that energy prices are going up. The question that the Australian public had to decide was, do they support Labor's strategy of a renewable future or the Liberal strategy of a nuclear future? And they've overwhelmingly voted for Labor's renewable. They're not, I don't believe for remotely, I think you are being unkind to the Australian public, Andrew. They are not dumb. And the voters get it right.
But if they fell for a lie that there's
in that
if
couple
those
of days,
reactors would cost
you're the one who made the
$600 billion.
Well, Little Proud says it's
mate, look,
$330 billion.
apparently I'm not going to get you to
use
talk.
$330 billion.
Look, I've got to cut this because I'm obviously not going to get you to talk about failed policies. You're not going to talk about failed policies. You're simply going to say, well, people voted for them as if that would make them right, as that suddenly makes the power bills go down. They don't. Going back to Andrew Hastie, Michael, tonight he said something very interesting about the future of the Liberal Party. We'll say it on Four Corners tonight. Have a listen to this.
There's no reason to think that we won't disappear if we don't get our act together. That's how serious this challenge is.
Is he right, or do you think you can get back into the contest sooner than that?
No, of course he's not right, Andrew. Having been in politics since my first election in 1969, I've seen the Liberal Party written off on many occasions. For that matter, the Labor Party have been written off on many occasions as well. I mean, there have been so many articles after elections over the years saying, does Labor have a future? So I've seen all this stuff before. No, what the coalition needs to do, and thank goodness they're getting back together, what the coalition needs to do is focus back on the issues that are relevant to the majority of the Australian people and the reason why people vote for the coalition in the first place, which is superior economic management, a better tax policy, smaller government, lower regulation, etc. Whilst we wander off onto cheap petrol and all sorts of other things which don't deal with the major problems in this country, we just get lost in a bidding war. Well, you're never going to win a spend-a-thon against Labor. That's the exact opposite of what we stand for. And we've got $1.2 trillion of debt federally. We've got $270 billion worth of debt, gross debt in Victoria in 4 years' time. I mean, the world is exploding in debt. Sooner or later, our kids are going to have to pay for this. And the sooner Susan Lee and her team, which I think they will, get back onto serious discussions about economics, the coalition vote will rocket, because as soon as people realise the financial disaster that is this country, the worse Albanese will go, which is why, by the way, Andrew, he's always diverting attention away from economics, the economy and the state of the budget deficit and the national debt onto things like, global warming, there's an Armageddon coming, Medicare's going to be slashed, etc., etc. Two surpluses.
Two surpluses.
They didn't even touch the sides. Stephen, they didn't touch the sides.
You won't be making that boast next election. Anyway, that's enough. Michael Kroger, Stephen Conroy, thank you very much to you both.